Do you know something? For the past few months, I felt like I'm in a bit of a rut. Not the laying in bed, watching TV all day, wondering if Jeremy Carl's going to come back sort of rut. Just flat. Work's been work, friends are still friends, and home is still home. Nothing dramatic has happened. Life is alright. Nobody's really upset me. And to be honest, I feel a little bit embarrassed when people ask me what's wrong. And my answer's, I don't really know. And I genuinely didn't. I just felt like I'd lost my spark. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I have dinner, I scroll through my phone, watching motivational videos on YouTube, and then just wonder why the evening has just disappeared. And then go to bed and just repeat it all over again. It's amazing how quickly life can just become like a Groundhog Day. You just get up, you go to work, and then you come home again and just repeat everything again. I sort of wondered, is this how getting older was meant to feel like? Maybe it is once you hit your 50s. Your excitement is thinking about when the next bin day is, or what colour bin it is. I mean, I've got 4. And to be honest, if you're a Gen X, we was never told how to deal with this stuff. Our parents' training was just rub some dirt on it, it'll be alright. The counselling was just go outside and get on with it. We was told not to make a fuss. And to be honest, most of the time it did genuinely work. We did just get on with it. We didn't make a fuss. And we did go outside quite a bit for like 10 hours a day. And when we did disappear for those 10 hours, we'd just come home dirty, muddy, bleeding from some reopening of a wound from the day before. But now, we don't even question paying £5-7 for some Ponzi coffee. Let's be honest, I don't. Sod that. No one's getting my £7 for Ponzi coffee. But the funny thing now is, I thought I was actually losing motivation. But the more I thought about it, it wasn't the motivation which I was lost. It was actually reason. The reason why I'm going through this monotonous get up, go to work, come home, scroll through YouTube videos about motivation. I just needed a reason. Then one evening, it did actually hit me. I have got a goal, and the goal is to get that mortgage paid. Imagine waking up and the last payment of your mortgage has finally gone from your bank account. That's got to be better than finding a tenner in an old coat. But here's the problem. That's such a long way off. It's not something which is going to get me excited on a rainy Tuesday, or get me to jump out of bed with excitement and go, oh, that's another day closer to getting the Nationwide off my back. It's not immediate. It's not now. It's not something which I can get my teeth stuck into. Nothing that's mine. Nothing that challenges me or scares me a little bit. Years ago, I had running. Every week had a purpose. Every run had meaning. Some were rubbish, some were brilliant. But every single run just moved me forward. And then a couple of years ago, life happened. I had to have an operation, prolapse disc, and everything just stopped. And every time I tried to get back into running, I think I just looked too deep into how I used to be and the training I used to do, and just got depressed about it. I think I just wasn't looking at it the right way. So I'd just go out for one run, skip another. And if ever you've ever done anything, any running or training like that, then you've got an idea how that story ends. 1 week becomes 1 month, and then 1 month becomes 2, And then all of a sudden you're looking at your trainers just wondering if they still fit. Then a couple of weeks ago, I thought, enough is enough. Now, if I'd been sensible, I would have picked a cool evening, nice breeze, perfect conditions. But no, I went out, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 35 degrees. So it sort of seemed like my decision making had apparently melted before I'd even started. So I laced up my trainers, stood there, looking down the road, wondering if putting on my trainers could be classed as exercise. But I finally went off, done 5 kilometres. Eventually, I was blowing harder than an old Ford Escort with a hole in the exhaust. I had hands on knees. I was sweating from places I didn't even realise you could sweat. I even had dog walkers looking at me. You could see him thinking, is he all right? And to be honest, I wasn't. But I'd done it. Ran a bit, walked a bit, ran a bit, walked a bit more. But I'd done it. Wasn't pretty, wasn't fast unless you was timing it using a calendar. But I did it. And do you know what? It actually felt great. It felt great because I'd gone out and felt like I'd actually achieved something. It's not just because of the run. It's because I'd finally started. And then it suddenly dawned on me. It was only 2 years ago that I'd ran nearly 100 miles in 24 hours. And 5k actually genuinely nearly finished me off. But I'm all right with that. Because comparison only matters if you don't start again. And the bloke I was 2 years ago, that's not the competition I have now. The competition I have now is the bloke I was yesterday. And the competition I have now is trying to beat yesterday, not 2 years ago. And I'm actually all right with that. And then for the first time in months, I actually got excited. I actually have an aim. And my aim now is I'm going to try and do another ultra marathon in 2027. I'm going to say that again. My aim now is to do another ultra marathon in 2027. Which actually feels really weird considering I nearly needed oxygen on my last 5k run. But that's exactly why I'm saying it. The impossible becomes possible when you give yourself enough ordinary days. So between now and then, the running starts, the weights, the core work, yoga. Yes, yoga. I'm actually getting excited about doing yoga. I think if I can try and get my socks on without groaning, then that's a bonus. Because the problem with getting older, we suddenly have these groans. But the point I'm trying to make is, I'm not trying to be 25 again. I'm trying to be the best version of the age I am now. One thing I will promise you, I'm not going to fake this journey. I think there's enough people on social media which is making life look just amazing, and it makes you feel even more crap than what you do now. You're going to see every downfall, every injury, every shite run, every good run, every back-breaking bit of exercise, and maybe seeing me snap when I try and do a little bit of yoga. There's going to be days where life just drains every little bit out of me, and I'll tell you about that. And if you're feeling the same as what I've been feeling, don't ask yourself, how do I get my motivation back? Maybe ask yourself what you got to aim for. I've started to realise now that motivation is a result. Purpose comes first, and then motivation comes second. Maybe your challenge isn't running. Maybe your challenge is walking, or playing the guitar, or taking your grandchildren camping, or maybe trying to grow the biggest tomatoes on the allotment, or maybe even trying to start that business which you've talked about for so many years. Whatever it is, You need something to make you smile when you wake up in the mornings. We are Gen X. We are the ones which went out for 10 hours on our bikes with no mobile phones, recorded music from cassette tapes. And somehow we survived it all. I think we just don't give enough credit to ourselves to realise how tough we actually are. Or maybe we've just forgotten. Well, I'm remembering. And if you'd like to come along for the journey while I train for my ultra in 2027 and see all the sweat, the tears, the laughter, the victories, however small they are, I'd love to know in the comments. Tell me what your next challenge is. Let's encourage each other. Because I don't think there's many of us out there which actually need fixing. I think we just need something to aim for. Something to get our spark back. So I hope you did enjoy this. I hope something has ignited a little spark in you with my little story. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm just going to carry on with my walk. See you again.